Today we're gonna go back to our old game. Wait, the SpongeBob updated. Yeah. Grow, I got it. Today I'm very laggy. Just don't ask why. So subscribe so you can help me grow make my internet better. Yay. Eusebio. Okay, I'm so weird. I cannot. Look. Rainbow corpse. 6. Wait, my bamboo's so high now. Wait, what is this? Yo, I got 2 the tallest man who I ever seen. Going to see.
Minecraft trailer. Take 2.
My friend. Steve right here.
I'm Steve. As a child.
It's so funny. Watch it.
There are moments in sports that define a career.
Who's that? Luna. Bro, look at this. I'm going to my farm.
And then there are moments that end them.
Most analysis of the urine sample have proved
1994, the world witnessed the sudden and shocking downfall of one of football's greatest icons. A player so mesmerizing, so untouchable in his prime, that many believed he wasn't just a legend, he was football itself. Diego Maradona had done the impossible. He had conquered the world in 1986, lifted Napoli to heights they had never dreamed of, and carried an entire nation on his back. But for all his brilliance, he had demons, ones that would eventually consume him. And on that fateful day, during Argentina's opening game of the 1994 World Cup, the final chapter of Maradona's international career was written. It wasn't an injury. It wasn't age catching up to him. It was something far worse. This is the story of the game that ended Diego Maradona.
So sad.
It was Argentina's opening game of the 1994 World Cup. Diego Maradona was leading Argentina out for yet another tournament, just as he had done in 1986, when they conquered the world for only the second time, and in 1990, when they reached back-to-back World Cup finals. The game was against Greece, and it was expected to be a walk in the park for the South American giants. And indeed, it was. The game ended 4-0, and Maradona was on the score sheet. But unbeknownst to him and the rest of the world watching, that was to be his last goal for Argentina, because of a really silly decision he made. But for you to truly understand what happened in that particular game and why it led to his ultimate downfall, I have to take you back to the very beginning. You see, if you never got to watch Maradona play, I'm sorry, you just weren't lucky enough. He was a real sight to behold and a proper entertainer. At 5'5", he was often one of the smallest players on the pitch, but the things he could do with a ball always left everyone stunned.
Yeah.
He started his career at Argentinos Juniors, and just 4 months after he made his professional debut, he made his international debut with the Argentina first team at just 16 years of age. Yes, he was that good. He could have won his first World Cup on home soil at the age of 17, but the coach decided not to call him up for the 1978 World Cup because he felt he was too young. Well, that happened for a reason. Maradona was never made to be a supporting cast. He was always destined to be the hero in his own story, so he had to wait. He played his first World Cup tournament in 1982 at the age of 21, and that tournament seemed to set the tone for what his entire career would look like. He played the opening match of the tournament at the Camp Nou, a place that would become his home that summer, and then he was one of the most fouled players in the entire tournament. In the game against Brazil, with Argentina losing the game 3-0 to their deathly rivals, Maradona lost his temper, kicked Batista in the midriff as a retaliation for an earlier foul, and got sent off. He was so young, but he had already announced to the world that he was an assertive player with God-level talent, but a very hot temper. Anyway, after that tournament, Maradona signed for Barcelona for a then world record fee of £5 million. The year was 1982. If you thought he was good before then, you should have seen him at Barcelona. Maradona was so good that he became the first Barcelona player to receive a standing ovation from Real Madrid fans at the Santiago Bernabeu, and this came in a cup final in 1983. He scored in both legs to help Barcelona beat their arch-rivals to a trophy, so he instantly became a hero. But something significant happened in 1984, which effectively put an end to this hero's Barcelona career. Despite being the best player in the world at the time, the Argentine was always prone to violence. He had shown it as a 21-year-old at the World Cup, and he showed it again as a 23-year-old in the 1984 Copa del Rey final. During that game against Athletic Club, Maradona was repeatedly hard-tackled by Andoni, the same player who had nearly ended the Argentine's career with a nasty injury the previous year. Maradona was also booed and subjected to racial insults from the Athletic fans. Barcelona would end up losing that game 1-0 and missing out on the trophy, and after the full-time whistle went, a frustrated Diego just snapped. He absolutely lost it and went berserk. He headbutted one player, elbowed another, and knocked one out cold with his knee, not caring for 1 second that the King of Spain was right there in the stadium watching everything live. Maradona's actions led to a really huge brawl on the pitch between the Athletic and Barcelona players, and the Argentine was right at the heart of it all, kicking and punching whoever was within reach. Fans would later get involved, throwing objects at players, coaches, photographers, whoever they could find. Eventually, about 60 people were injured as a result of this brawl, so Barcelona decided they had had enough. Yes, Maradona was a pure talent, perhaps the greatest they had ever had at the club at the time, but that attitude he displayed that day was an absolute disgrace, so he was sold. That final was the last game he ever played in a Barcelona shirt. He moved to Napoli in the summer of 1984 for another world record fee of £6.9 million. In Naples, he was presented to a record stadium attendance of 75,000 people. He was undoubtedly the biggest football superstar in the world, and was now playing in the biggest and toughest league in the world at the time. During his time at Napoli, Maradona led Argentina to World Cup success in 1986. Then he went on to lead Napoli to their first ever Serie A title in 1987. He would help them win another Scudetto in 1990 to establish himself as the club's greatest ever player and all-time top scorer at the time. That same year, he led Argentina to the World Cup in a country which had become his second home.
จะเรืออะไรเนี่ยห้องน้ำเหม็นเป็นต้มไก่อะไร
Copang. I figured these are not the best in the Oh, they're two blue stars.
Look. The old flower. Look.
He's in Barcelona too.
Yeah.